The story of Kilmar Abrego Garcia is complicated and has caught the attention of many people. He is at the center of a major legal fight with the United States government. Recently, he was arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement at a routine ICE check-in. Supporters gathered outside. He spoke to them in Spanish before going inside. He now faces possible deportation to Uganda. This is highly unusual and raises questions about immigration laws and human rights. His case involves serious claims from the government and strong defenses from his lawyers. DHS announced he was being processed for deportation to Uganda. Many people who followed his long legal journey were shocked. This forces us to look at how the immigration system works and how decisions are made about people's lives, especially when the destination is far away. His journey through the U.S. immigration system has been long and difficult, marked by legal battles and a major government mistake. He has been separated from his family for long periods. His story reflects challenges many immigrants face with complex rules and powerful government agencies. The United States government has made very serious accusations against Kilmar Abrego Garcia. The Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, has described him in strong terms. MS-13 gang member, human trafficker, serial domestic abuser, child predator. These are very serious claims that paint a picture of a dangerous person. These accusations are the main reason the government says he should be removed from the United States. The government believes that he is a threat to public safety and should not be allowed to stay in the country. However, it is very important to understand a key fact in this case. Despite these very serious accusations from a high-level government official, Mr. Abrego Garcia has never been convicted of any crime. A court of law has not found him guilty. In the American legal system, a person is generally considered innocent until proven guilty. This makes his situation very complicated. His lawyers argue the government is trying to punish him without a fair trial. The difference between an accusation and a conviction is at the heart of the debate. Supporters say the government is using scary labels to justify deportation without proof. They say it's unfair to treat someone as a criminal when not found guilty by a judge or jury. This raises important questions about fairness and justice in the immigration system. Deport on accusations alone? Before the current threat of deportation to Uganda, Kilmar Abrego Garcia experienced another very serious immigration problem. He was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. This happened even though a court had already decided he should not be sent there. A judge had issued an order in 2019 that blocked his removal to El Salvador. He had a well-founded fear of being hurt or killed by gangs there. Despite this clear court order, he was arrested in March. He was sent to a dangerous prison in El Salvador. The mistaken deportation separated him from his family for 160 days. It was a very difficult and scary time for him and his loved ones. Eventually, the Trump administration admitted that sending him to El Salvador was an administrative error. They brought him back to the United States in June. This shows how complex and sometimes flawed the immigration system can be. A government mistake sent him to a country where he feared for his life against a judge's order. After his return, his problems were not over. He soon faced a new and surprising threat: deportation to Uganda. The idea of sending someone who is not from Uganda there was very unusual. This plan relies on a special agreement between the United States and Uganda to accept certain asylum seekers. The proposed deportation has raised many concerns. His lawyers say it's another effort to remove him, a punishment after El Salvador. The threat of being sent so far away is a heavy burden for Mr. Abrego Garcia and his family. His journey went from a mistaken deportation to Central America to a potential deportation to Africa, highlighting the extreme, unpredictable nature of his case. The threat of being sent so far away is a heavy burden for Mr. Abrego Garcia and his family. We need to look at who he is, what the government says about him, and why a judge got involved. We must also understand the agreement between the United States and Uganda that allows this. As the government prepared to deport Kilmar Abrego Garcia to Uganda, his lawyers raced to stop it. They went to a federal court to ask a judge for help. They argued that deporting him to Uganda would be unfair and that he should have a chance to fight his case in court. The judge listened to their arguments and made an important decision. She decided to temporarily block the deportation. This means the government is not allowed to send him to Uganda for now. This decision gives Mr. Abrego Garcia and his legal team more time. This order is a significant victory for him, even if it is only temporary. The judge stated that the government is absolutely forbidden to remove Abrego Garcia from the continental United States until a full hearing can take place. This hearing will allow the judge to look more closely at the government's plan. She wants to see if the government is giving him a fair opportunity to challenge his removal to Uganda. The judge's involvement shows that the courts can play a critical role in checking the power of government immigration agencies. This legal fight also brings attention to a controversial plea deal that was offered to Mr. Abrego Garcia. Before he was released from jail after the El Salvador mistake, the government gave him a choice. He could plead guilty to the accusations against him and, after serving a sentence, be allowed to live in Costa Rica. The other option was to reject the deal, be released from jail, but then face deportation to Uganda. His lawyer said this was not a fair choice. She argued it was a form of pressure, or coercion. The case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia is far from over, and it leaves us with many important questions. His future remains very uncertain. The temporary block on his deportation is a relief for him and his family, but the final outcome is still unknown. His case highlights a major conflict between national security claims and individual rights. On one hand, the government says it must protect the country from dangerous people. On the other hand, individuals have the right to a fair legal process and should not be punished without proof of guilt. There are also serious human rights concerns related to the proposed destination, Uganda. The United States State Department itself has issued warnings about the country. In a recent report, it described negative developments in the human rights situation in Uganda. Unlawful killings, arbitrary arrests, people disappearing. The State Department even warns American citizens to reconsider traveling to Uganda because of terrorism and violent crime. This makes the government's decision to send someone there very questionable. The agreement between the United States and Uganda also raises questions. Under this deal, Uganda has agreed to take in people who cannot get asylum in the United States and do not want to go back to their home countries. However, there are conditions. Uganda is supposed to accept only people who do not have criminal records. Since Mr. Abrego Garcia has no criminal convictions, it is unclear if he even fits the rules of the agreement. This adds another layer of legal complexity to his case and challenges the government's plan. Ultimately, this case forces us to think about bigger issues of justice, fairness, and human dignity.